Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Creating Things Together. I'm Christina, this is James. We are a lovely married couple who make YouTube videos, we travel, we freelance, we do all the things at once, sometimes to a detriment. This podcast is our newest venture. We upload once a Monday. Once a Monday? What? That is true, I guess. Mm-hmm. We upload once a week on Mondays. And yeah, this is where we just ramble about creating things together. Ding! Just imagine in your mind stars glittering everywhere.
Yes. And I think we're going to install that actual machine soon. I'm excited about that.
That sounds
Although
rowdy.
actual stars would not be good because then we would blow up the entire city of Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
If we generated nuclear fusion and made a star.
Is that how you make stars? Nuclear fusion?
Yeah. It's a big ball of fusion. It's a fusion ball.
Okay. I didn't know that.
And
I thought it was just a rock that was on fire.
I don't know if there's I don't know if the nuclear part is a valid part of it, but the fusion part, I think that's the process that's going on to make a star a star.
I don't know.
And it's really intense. You have a thing on your nose right there.
Is it a booger?
It's like a little tiny one. It's not embarrassing or anything.
Oh my gosh.
It might be
Is it gone?
It might be a seed or something, like a sesame seed. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I'm growing a watermelon.
What if you had sesame seeds growing out of your nose?
That would be uncomfortable.
And doctors couldn't figure out what it was.
I feel like I would be a drug addict because that's how opioids are made, right? Don't sesame seeds have opioids?
You have a tahini addiction?
Is it gone?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's what it's called, right? Tahini?
Tahini? I don't think so.
I think it's like a little paste you can make with sesame seeds.
Okay.
I see it at Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. Anyway, Christina, how's your morning been?
My morning has been good. For some reason, waking up in the morning has been a struggle, a massive struggle. But once I got going, I was going. I finished a podcast, not our podcast, but I finished it nonetheless.
Okay.
And I just need to do some final things to it. Probably have 2 more hours left on that freelance job. And then I will be editing our personal video today and just trying to get all the things done.
Cool. Very good. Have you mentioned the topic yet?
I haven't.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome.
Well,
we're going to talk about something.
I will mention the topic very quickly. We're going to go back over our desert trip and we're going to talk about some things that we have learned from that or that we were reminded of from that. But I'll mention my morning really quick. It's been a very good morning. Good. I think we did a decent job at waking up from my perspective all week long. And it just kind of, it was a wrestle, but we were wrestling with it. And that's what matters, right? I think we were trying to, and that kind of leans into our topic, which is going to be effort versus results. That's one of our topics for today.
Yeah. I think there's always room for improvement, as always.
Of course.
Dude, our kids are going to hate me. You can always do better.
No, you're gonna make our kids very disciplined though, and I'm very happy about that.
Hopefully,
it's good. It's a good thing.
It's a lot of pressure. Good thing we don't have any yet.
I have random trends that go on in my head, and one of the trends that has happened in my mind today has been good thoughts, positive thoughts.
That's nice.
And yeah.
I'm beautiful.
That I should have them, right?
I love each
not
freckle.
Not that I'm just having positive thoughts, but that I should be having those.
This freckle is beautiful. This freckle's beautiful.
You are unique in your own way. You are unique in your own way. You are unique in your own way. What's interesting, I do have a freckle named Fred. He's my favorite, and he's more unique than all the others. Although he looks like he's fading. I'm kind of nervous. No, you get some light on him, and he's okay.
Yeah, no, he's
just shy. So I've been thinking this morning about the idea of putting yourself in positive spaces through thinking positive thoughts. And that can mean a lot of different things. Obviously, you hear people say that all the time. So to be more clear, thinking about whether it's traveling, whether it's a snack, whether it's just think that song.
I like thinking
that song,
about snacks. Snacks are
the Mary Poppins song. These are a few of my favorite things. That's Mary Poppins, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Drops on roses and whiskers on kittens.
I get that in The Sound of Music mix. I used to think that was the exact same thing.
No, it's not, but same actress.
Okay.
Julie Andrews. Bright copper kettles and warm rolling mittens.
That is a very genius song.
Brown paper packages tied up with strings.
Quick side note to that,
These are a few of my favorite.
We watched the
Christopher Robin.
The Christopher Robin. It's a story about Winnie the Pooh, and the person who hung out with him, the kid who hung out with him in the old cartoons. Right?
Yeah. If you listen to our last episode with our friends Bryce and Nellie, Bryce gave us homework to relax. The best things come from nothing, and I love Pooh. He's just a little dumb bear.
Yeah.
He's so fun.
I love the character of him as well. What I struggle with is the message of that movie, which was like, just play and do nothing. It was just kind of like,
you always think
some of
way
the
too
greatest
hard about
things in
movies.
life come from you just doing nothing. There was like songs, and
there was
just a general messaging of like, hey, you know what?
That wasn't the message.
This
James.
is the way that you're like, Christopher Robin.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to make a career for himself and his family.
Yeah, but he
Meanwhile,
wasn't balanced.
Pooh and Friends.
Oh my gosh, the whole thing was about balancing in life.
Yeah, but you have to let me finish my argument.
Oh my gosh,
Pooh
here we
and
go.
Friends were over here like, let's just do nothing, and the best things come out of nothing. There was a part where
you always have criticisms of
Pooh,
movies. Just watch it and like don't even think.
He was in a place that was like, he was in a difficult spot, so he decided he was going to stand in a tree and look into the tree, and that was going to fix his problem. He was going to find something through that, and that's horrible messaging, particularly for kids. Like, no, go fix your freaking problem.
Bryce,
anyway.
If you're listening to this, I enjoyed the movie. I thought Pooh was great. And
it was a fine movie. There were a lot of great things about it. The humor was amazing. Wonderful British
I know
humor.
I don't need a balloon, but the balloon will make me very happy. That made me laugh.
That was great, and the value of playing and all that stuff. That's awesome. To go back to the Mary Poppins reference, that song, it has a wonderful message, because it's like when the bee stings,
Mm-hmm.
when
I'm feeling sad.
When
the dog bites. When the bees sting. When I'm
feeling
feeling sad. I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad.
And that was
Hit us up,
that's
American
a great
Idol.
message, and that's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to be in that state of mind today, and just be intentional about putting those thoughts in my head. The Bible even talks about the importance of the thoughts in your head, and
I wonder if the Bible got that from Mary Poppins.
Perhaps. Yeah, we'll have to do some research on that. And so it's something that seems to be a word of wisdom, something that's rather important. Are you turning me down?
I'm turning you up. James, you're not supposed to acknowledge the fact that I'm messing with the audio.
Well, if the audio is like going down in the thing, I feel like I should acknowledge it.
Do you not trust my editing? The whole point behind creativity is to communicate a message without being distracting, and you did the complete opposite. You're fired.
Well, I'm just saying, if the audio level did change, and for some reason you made a mistake there, and you weren't prepared to know, I want to bring it up so that if they do hear it, they're gonna go, hey, you know what?
I just turned James down.
Did you just turn me down?
I just silenced him.
So anyway, this morning has been a bit of that, and I've been putting those thoughts and those zen.
Happy thoughts.
I don't like the word zen. I'm actually going to backtrack on that.
Why?
Because that feels too like
hippy dippy.
Positivity. It's not. I don't want to.
James doesn't believe in positivity.
I don't want to lean too much in on the word of positivity, but just things that make you feel mentally better. Thoughts that are good. Thoughts that are happy and helpful. As opposed to having too many negative thoughts on your daily go-abouts.
I don't think that's a bad message to share.
What I just said?
Yeah.
I think it was a good one.
Think happy
so
thoughts.
That's why I said it. But we want to talk about our desert trip.
Where there were no happy thoughts.
There,
The desert trip was a struggle for me personally. James started struggling a little bit. I wonder if it was like because I was struggling and we kind of fed off of each other's negative energy. But if you haven't seen the desert video, it gives you a little bit more context. I'll link that in the show notes.
Or videos. I mean, we're going to have multiple videos coming out regarding the desert. We have our A6400 video coming out.
Yeah.
Which might be out by the time.
But we're just talking about this desert trip. This is the overall desert trip to give people a visual representation of what we're speaking about. Not all the other ones.
No, but on this desert trip, we made 3 different videos.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
What are you talking about?
We made a video about that was sort of a vlog-esque experience of the trip, and I forget what we named it. Then we made one talking about the A6400 and what we liked and didn't like about it. And so that was some desert content. And then we made a podcast.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the one to actually give context to what we're speaking about. Mm-hmm. The A6400 is just B-roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was no James doesn't edit our videos, so he doesn't know what's going on. He just sees the final result.
Everything we filmed there was going to go out, and you can watch that.
Okay.
That was my point.
Okay. I will link the desert video, the vlog, to give you more context below. If you want to watch all the other ones, all power to you. I won't even twist your arm. I will give you a high five virtually.
I won't tickle your ankle.
Don't you do it, James. But that video, the way that I planned it, basically in summary, didn't come to fruition. So we had to kind of create on the fly, and it was a little bit stressful. There were quite overwhelming times, but you know what? It's all good. So that's what James is referring to.
Was the whole trip a stressful experience for you, or was it pockets?
I think pockets.
Yeah.
The whole trips.
Just for clarity for the folks.
Yeah, definitely pockets. We had some really lovely times, starting with day 1.
Yeah, let's go through the timeline, shall we?
James got a speeding ticket.
I got a speeding ticket on the way to St. George / Leverkin, Utah, which is where we hung out. You may have heard of it before, but probably not, let's be honest.
It's where Zion is.
Yes, it's where Zion. You probably have heard of that more than likely. And I was going 89 in an 80-degree weather.
Yep. And it was a beautiful day.
And and I passed the police officer and went, he might pull me over, but I think he won't.
Until he came up behind us
right,
with his lights on.
I think one thing that aided in him pulling me over was that I was sort of whipping around a car at the same time that I was passing him, so I looked like I was being a little bit reckless. Like I wasn't going with like 5 other cars also going 89 miles per hour, right?
You were Speedy Gonzalez in that Honda Civic.
I poked my head out, and then I see him come up, and I see his lights turn on, and the second I saw his lights turn on, you have the thought that you always have, which is like, that's probably me. But most of the time, you get lucky. And it's not. And it's like, I've had plenty of times where the car in front of me was the car that gets pulled over. And you're like ready to get off the road. Like you're ready to be pulled over. And then he goes around. And then you feel like you have somebody has saved you from
I guess we took one
prison.
I guess we took one for the team.
We took one for the team. I generally think that if you're in a lot of situations, if you're going 5 to 10 over, they're probably not going to pull you over. But there are a couple of exceptions, and this was a new exception I learned.
Yeah.
One of them is, like you mentioned before when we were talking about this, in a school zone. Bad times.
Bad time
if
to
you're
go
going
over the speed limit.
45 and a 35 in a school zone, you are getting pulled over. Completely reasonable. If you're going 80 and a 70, you're probably not going to get pulled over.
But you still could get pulled over. So
Possible.
go 78 is what I tell you all the time.
Yeah. But and when I say 80, I mean 77 to 80, right? But when you are driving on, according to the police officer, the fastest speed limit in the US of A, I don't know why he's from Texas, but the fastest speed limit that is apparently 80, which I thought it was like 90 before.
90, like on Route 66.
Yeah, because Utah has some fast speed limits. It's because you're not going to hit anything. It's just nothing everywhere. Yeah. So he pulled me over and he told me that because I was going that speed limit and the fastest speed, all of these variables, the fact that you're going 89 and an 80, that's a little bit more serious.
Yeah, you're going basically 10 miles under 100 miles an hour.
Right.
And that's pretty fast.
I mean, that's pretty fast.
He was a really nice guy, though.
But in my defense, Christina and gentlemen and ladies, in no particular order, all of you are valuable at the same. I had a brunch to get to, and when we got pulled over, he walked back to his car, and I just thought, I was like, how funny would it be if I said, "What is this all about, officer? I have a brunch to get to."
Yeah, that would have been, I'm sure he would have found that funny.
He didn't have much of a sense of humor.
He didn't. I tried to like have small talk with him, but he couldn't hear me because it was the side of the interstate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how's your day going so far? He's like, what? It's like, please don't give us a ticket, sir. But I think we handled that situation overall pretty well.
That could have tainted the rest of our trip easily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But really all it is we just have to edit a video and kind of pay it off.
That helps when you can frame it that way, where you go, okay, this is this much of this project.
It's just a day's worth of work.
Yeah.
So that started the trip off on a negative note, but like I said, I think we handled it well. And then we
did not become negative Nancy's.
We did not become negative Nancy's.
No.
Became positive Peters.
Mm-hmm.
But moving into the, I guess, the official first day after the ticket, we basically took a trip up to Zion with our friends. Our friends live in an RV. They were traveling the 50 states. They were in town, so we decided to drive to visit them. And that is kind of when things started falling apart for me personally. First second of having to like excome on a video.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
You were struggling a bit at Zion.
Yeah.
Particularly.
Just a little. Yeah. For me, starting a creative process is a bit tough. It's kind of like, in James's words, moving a parked train. I'm very much a creature of momentum, and it was just tough. When the train is parked, you can't move it. But once the train's going, ooh, buddy, chugga chugga choo choo.
Takes a lot of energy to get that train going with all the coal trailers behind it.
Yeah.
Chlorine, whatever they put in trains.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of energy to get that sucker going. But once you get some momentum, that's where the analogy breaks down. But the part where it's
once you get momentum, you're going at least 35 miles an hour.
Once you get momentum, it's equally as hard to keep it going as when you started. But
so the momentum in that circumstance for me was, we were basically just walking down a path. We were with a bunch of young parents, and they didn't want to take their kids up Angel's Landing because they're one. But our friend Nellie saw a really scenic spot and wanted some family portraits done, just really quick with, iPhones. And that's kind of when I had to kick it into go mode and start running around and start shooting. And that kind of started the momentum for me. And from then it was less hard, but,
There's always a moment of breakthrough, because the first bit of creating, especially when you haven't filmed something in a while, if you're in a filming situation, for example, which we are in this case, if you haven't filmed something for a while, you are going to naturally feel a lack of momentum, and it may be pretty stressful. You may feel like you're swimming through molasses until you hit a specific point where something happens. There's some elevated energy moment, and you'll have a breakthrough, and then you'll start developing that momentum. And the question is, how do you wait? Do you wait for that breakthrough?
Do you create
that breakthrough for yourself at the beginning? If so, how? How's hard?
Yeah, how is super hard.
How do you create a moment of inspiration and enlightenment for yourself before you start. I think one way you can actually do that is trying to do that beforehand, getting yourself inspired beforehand, trying to get your mind on the right path. But
it's even like, how do you do that sitting at a desk in your apartment planning for the video? And I think that's the stuff that I think
inspiration will get you a long way. Like watching videos that you've done in the past that you're proud of, watching other people's videos. But there's of course a difference between watching and putting the camera in your hand,
right,
and turning that into it. But the part of the mental state that you have to overcome, the negative mental state that you have to overcome, is generating enthusiasm for the thing, because you can do a lot with enthusiasm in life.
Yeah, jazz fingers.
Right. The principle of jazz fingers
is enthusiasm.
Yeah, from Buddha. And that enthusiasm is a big deal. I found that to be a huge deal for me. So going into any project, I have to generate that enthusiasm sometimes, because sometimes I'm just like, I just don't want to do anything. Like,
I feel like that's how a lot of this week felt for you and I. We were getting stuff done. We were being productive, but maybe we weren't being as efficient as we could be, because we were kind of like, just think about when we leave the house, but we don't have any deadline to be somewhere. It takes us like 30 minutes to leave the freaking apartment. It's so frustrating. It's like, let's get going.
Yeah.
But
external circumstances.
Yeah. And I think we need to maybe create some of those.
Can change things. Yeah.
But yeah, getting that train moving, guys. I don't know. I feel like this is, maybe we should shift into more of a positive tone. External circumstances, guys.
I mean, this is called creating things together. And part of creating things together, you've mentioned before that you don't want to just be happiness and sunshine.
Right. I want to be real and share the creative struggles. Because the like, if I had to go on like a scale of like 1 to 100, the like 100 being the best, most creative day ever of my life, I would say any individual day is probably like a good 70%.
Okay.
And that's not a lot.
Wait, hold on. Any individual day, that 70% sounds great to me though.
Well, not to my standards.
Oh, okay. You want to be like 99.
I want to be crushing it all the time.
Yeah.
But 100% is like, there's no creative struggles. You're just executing. See,
I feel 48 sometimes 30.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I strive for mediocrity at best.
And you achieve.
Thank you so much. You're so kind. Yeah, so that's really what I wanted to, I guess, hammer the nail into the casket, fam.
Man, you've been watching Dr. Phil recently, haven't you?
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
You sometimes you got to put the tassel on the horse's foot and spin it around. That's what my grandpa said back in Texas.
I'm going to let you know that I'm about to put some verbs in my sentences.
Put some verbs in my sentences, and it's going to be a changing day in your life.
Da-da. Anyway, what was I talking about?
You're talking about
being authentic, and just know you're not the only one riding the creative struggle bus.
Yes.
And
what we're talking about is creating a more positive culture for creating in your own life. I think when we talk about the struggles, that's what we're doing. Because I can't believe we're the only ones that struggle with these types of things in the creative process. I think that social media just tells us that.
Well, because social media is a highlight reel. Nobody wants to, it's not fun to talk about, like, I had a really hard time getting the momentum to get that killer shot. So day 2 was a lot of the same. It started off pretty chill. And I think
what I was going to say is that this helps people create a better culture because it helps them sort through those struggles for themselves and make a better creating life for themselves.
Yeah. And so
how did we do that on day 2?
We didn't.
I was trying to transition. It fell apart.
Day 2 is a lot of the same. It was a lot of a struggle. And what I think, kind of looking back at that, I don't think we need to kind of go into it just because it was just a struggle. How much can you say? Day
2 is like Kolob Canyon, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I think, where we hit a pinnacle of.
Right. But my point is, like, you can only beat a dead horse so many times.
Okay. Before it comes back to life.
All right, Dr. Phil. But So day 2 was a lot of the same struggle, and something that James mentioned as we were speaking about this previously was the fact that sometimes we don't pick up the camera for a couple days. Sometimes, like, basically we're a bit rusty. And the way there's certain people that are just so good at so many things is they do it every single day. And I think that's the same thing with creating. I
think that's one of Gary Vaynerchuk's greatest strengths.
Yeah.
If you watch his 8-hour super vlog, he's done a couple now. He's probably done 6 more since I last watched. But one of the most inspiring things about those to me, and it's just, by the way, it's like 8 hours of almost uncut footage of him going up through his day, signing books, signing baby foreheads.
I wonder how big the file size was.
I don't know.
That had to be like a 20 gig file size.
Yeah.
And they probably had to like drop the, what's that? The kilobit, I call them kilobits.
The kilobits?
The kilobits.
The bit rate?
The bit rate, there we go.
Maybe, I don't know. I just know that it took me 4 hours to export my 1.5 hour long podcast video the other day. But
yeah, you're editing on a time machine. You need to...
His time, like as it, meaning like it's ancient?
Yeah.
Okay. So his super daily vlog thing was interesting to me because you saw just the sheer, like, the sheer amount. I'll just go with the easy word.
I think James is having a stroke right now.
Sometimes I try to come up with a better word. Because communication, if you say something a different way, sometimes people have never heard it that way. It's a good thing. But the sheer amount of content creation he does on any given day keeps him from being rusty.
Yeah.
It's just ongoing progression. And he would go from one Instagram story to the next Facebook Live to the next little...
He's just always turned
intro
on.
bit for another video that's not even associated with this video. He's going. So when he sits down at when he goes to a radio show, sits down at the mic, he doesn't have to flip a switch. He's there.
That's so inspiring. Like, how do we create that structure for ourselves every single day? At every, like, I mean, there's times that we flip the switch off, and I think that's very healthy. But how do we do that?
That's the momentum that you want to try to achieve.
Yeah, yes. That's the 100% that I want. I was on a live stream last night chatting with some friends, and a gentleman who is the owner, runs, I don't know, how do you describe somebody that, like,
CEO?
Makes a channel.
Founder?
What do we do? Like,
creator?
Creator. He's the creator behind...
He created a channel that he now creates for.
There we go. He's the creator behind Painfully Honest Tech. His name is Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Hi, Jason. Something that he said that was super inspiring to me was, like, for, I think he said 8 years or so, he would just write every single day. And it got to a point where it wasn't hard anymore. It would just kind of flow. Right. And I wonder if, like, a lot of what we do, and this is something that's been on my mind all week, is a lot of what we do has no schedule to it, which is amazing. That's what I love about, like, right now, especially because we don't really have anything to edit that's, like, super time consuming, I don't think. We could leave. You
mean like today?
Today.
Yeah.
We could leave and go to the desert right this second.
Sure.
We could turn this podcast off and
we don't have to call any manager.
No. Yeah. And I think that's amazing, and I feel so lucky to be in that position. But the caveat with that is we don't really have a schedule. And I think there's certain places that we can create schedules for ourselves. And I think
when you're not on somebody else's schedule, you have to create your own schedule.
Right.
And there's value to the schedule that other person has created for you.
Right.
Because that schedule has taken a lot of time and thought to be created. You have to do that for yourself now. Yeah. And if you're not good with schedules, you're going to run into some issues.
Yeah. And I honestly like the fact that we don't really have a schedule, but I do want some structure. And I think we need to create that. And
honestly, not having a schedule, maybe, I don't know if you agree with this or not, makes
Probably
things
not.
more complicated.
Yeah, I'd say so.
On a daily basis, it makes things more irritating, more complicated, more confusing, and more depressing.
It's, I don't know about depressing, but yes, all of the other stuff. What's interesting is, like, sometimes I feel like we're more stressed, it's a different kind of stress for sure. But like if we're out filming, like why are we stressed right now? We've got the entire day. Right. But of course we make deadlines for ourselves, and there are some things, for example, with this podcast, I've created a deadline. It goes live every single Monday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means I need to have it edited and finished, obviously, before that time. I'm not trying to wake up at 3 a.m. our time to get it up in time on the East Coast. I'm not trying to work on Sunday nights. So obviously I need to edit this right afterwards. So that structure is good. And I think that maybe we need to create those hard lines for like our personal channel. But I mean, it's also really tough because freelance stuff tends to take priority. But when we have those lulls, days like today where we're not doing anything freelance wise, I mean, I have some stuff to do, but it's not going to take my entire day. We need to be really disciplined and crush out stuff so we can set ourselves up for success. Like I wonder, this is just me thinking out loud, I wonder if we have, let's say we want to upload 2 times a week on our main channel. I wonder if we have everything shot and on the computer by Monday morning. Like there's no shooting throughout, I mean, there is shooting throughout the week, but it's for the next week. Right. Does that make sense?
Right.
So like we're always on top of it. Yeah. I think I just had an enlightened moment.
It's beautiful. And the thing that will do for us is it will make us feel much more organized in our brains, much less frustrated with each other. I think all of the time that you put in up front for a good, proper project will serve you well in the end.
Yeah.
You have to take that seriously.
Week. That was a really good idea.
That is a good idea.
It's going to be hard to do, but
because that way it works with our schedule better, because if we have a busy work week, we can shoot it in a bit more of a fragmented way if we have to for the next week, but we'll know we'll have a video for the next week.
Not the week of.
So what I'm saying is, like, if we're going to share a video on Monday, for example, like you were saying,
it should be already
all
shot.
All the stuff we filmed the previous week. If it takes us all week to film the videos that we need to do, that, if we have a non-busy week, would take us a day to do.
Right.
We don't want it to have to span out over the week, but at least we can span out over the week and then actually share it on Monday.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Ooh, man.
It's a good think tank,
dude.
Christina.
I just need a break. I'm like out of breath from all of that thinking.
I wanted to touch on downtime while traveling.
Okay.
Because I had a special moment when I was there. You remember this? It was where you were upstairs, and we were going to both go down to the lobby of our wonderful hotel. And you were never going to go down.
No, I didn't have any pants on. I was done for the day.
But I thought we spoke about doing that like earlier in the day.
Yeah, but it was more of the context of
tentative?
like going to a coffee shop or something.
Oh, okay.
You ended up doing the hotel because we didn't get to a coffee shop.
Oh, maybe so. Anyway, okay, so you're upstairs. You don't have pants on.
Dude, once the pants are off, the day is done.
Nothing happens, and I'm getting everything for her. She's basically a vegetable of a human.
Yeah, once I sit on the couch. James, can you get me a banana?
And so I went downstairs. It was the evening, and I felt like what happens to me on these trips is when you do a lot of in the field creating, I'll call it that, where you're actually filming, you're actually taking photos, you're actually generating the content that's going to end up in the editor later. When I do a bunch of that, by the end of the day, sometimes I feel like my brain is all over the place.
He's an introvert, so he needs to have James time in order to function.
And there's a social aspect of it too, right? Because particularly when we're creating with other people, my brain, I use so much energy that my brain is kind of fried by the end of the day, and it feels discombobulated, and I feel like I haven't done any like real work, quote unquote, all day long, even though I've been creating content. So I need a time in the day, most days, to sit down, and this is because I've created this routine for myself, and whenever I go on trips, my brain constantly wants to revert back to this routine. And that routine is what I've created here on a daily basis, which is a good routine because that means that I actually send out emails and do, important work. when I'm there, my brain needs to kind of decompress from the entire day and organize all of my thoughts, whether I'm writing something down or not, even though that's a great idea. I just need to get alone, sit down, and just sit with my laptop, listen to some music, and just get my thoughts back into categories.
Don't you dare speak to him when he's in this mode. Don't go near him. Don't breathe. Don't even you will get the...
That's only when I'm editing audio.
No, you will get the most dangerous side eye from me, James. He will side eye the crap out of you.
I'm gonna reject that. I'm gonna reject that, and I'm gonna push it off as if I'm somebody who has a blind spot and they need to go to therapy.
You can reject it. You can reject it all you want. Doesn't mean that it's true.
That's what I'm doing right now, Christina.
Okay, go ahead. Justify it.
Shut your mouth. I mean,
no. Do you get it?
When I'm editing,
did you get the joke that I just did?
Oh, I get it because
I laughed with my mouth.
Because I told you to shut your mouth and you laugh while shutting your mouth like a moron. Shut your mouth. So, when I edit audio, that's intense because I'm editing audio from these mics and I want it to sound really clean and nice, and I'm cutting between things. I want it to sound like it's continuous even though there's a cut. And all
you know what's hilarious? It never sounds good.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding. James is a professional and I'm sure his content is great. I think he has a channel or something.
Shut your mouth. So,
okay, go ahead.
So if Cooper's running around playing with a bone or something, I'm losing my mind because I have to play the same clip over and over and over and over.
Sugar, can you get the damn dog? Have you ever called me Sugar? Shug?
I don't think so.
Shuggy?
I call you honey whenever we're joking. I feel like, yeah.
I don't think you've ever called me
that. I feel like I've used that in a joke
You call me
before.
babe. Babe.
Babe.
Babe.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe. What was that?
What was your point?
My point was
editing
on
audio.
trips.
Okay, on trips.
Yeah, screw the editing audio. It's not that important. I'm going to shut my mouth about that one. Somebody just followed me. Thank you, Minimal Desk Life. You know who you are.
Yeah.
Downtime.
Oh my gosh.
When I'm on a trip, I need downtime to let my brain decompress and reorganize itself. And also it helps me get back in touch with what I'm trying to do with my life and my day. Because when I start doing stuff, I'll lose touch of my meaning and my purpose. Mm-hmm. So going downstairs to this quiet lobby, which felt a lot like what it used to feel like after I would close the Starbucks stores that I worked at. After a long day of a bunch of people, you close the store. It's just quiet. You hear the music that plays all the time for some reason, even when the store is closed. But there's nobody in there. It's just calm. You're mopping the floor. And that feeling is a very nostalgic feeling for me. I felt that at this hotel in the lobby. And I just sat there. I sipped on some tea of some sort. I forget what it was. And listened to music.
You're so classy.
Thank you. And my pinkies and my pinky toes were way up. Way up.
All the way up.
Way up. I'll show you the holes in my shoes later.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's important for me. I feel like it's way less important for you.
Yeah.
How do you decompress and recharge on trips?
I do that throughout the day.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't need to do it all in one.
Like a good fart.
Like a good fart. I decompress like gas. Yeah, I do it throughout the day. I'll find kind of quiet times or maybe one-on-one time with a friend and fart on them. No. Yeah, one-on-one time with a friend or something and just kind of chat with them for 5 minutes and then I'm on to the next thing.
Okay,
I don't need
social interaction.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
That was just an example.
There's just one.
Don't you push your introvert agenda on me, okay, James?
I'm gonna make this political.
I know.
I'm gonna make this a social. The agenda is gonna be that you are driven by only social interaction and that you have no thoughts of your own. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
carry on.
Are you making a point by telling me to carry on and that I'm carrying on because you said to carry on?
Do you not have any of your own thoughts to share, Christina?
You're really
just going to echo my thoughts.
You're really frustrating me. Thinking, what was I talking about? Okay, so
how do you decompress?
Yeah, so I decompress throughout the day, and it works for me.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, I rip those pants off and do a dance off.
But would you say that the pants off is like the ultimate decompression?
No, it's just me not wearing pants
Okay.
and watching MasterChef Junior
Okay.
and making fun of the little kids that I don't like. Guys, let's just go on a tangent really quick. MasterChef Junior really brings out the bad person in me.
Christina likes trash TV. Although MasterChef Junior is definitely on the
TV.
high end of trash TV. It's a wonderful show.
Yeah.
Wonderful series.
But I will like target certain kids. And
Junior and a senior.
I will target certain kids and be like, I don't like that little kid.
Yeah.
I hope he gets kicked off. I don't want to go home. And then every episode I end up crying.
Yeah.
Because somebody ends up.
We're always like commentating these shows in the evening.
Guys, if there was like a 24-hour podcast or like a live stream or something just in our apartment, you would really lose a lot of respect for us. I think that's safe to say. We get we're number one, inappropriate, which is great. I think a healthy amount of inappropriateness is fantastic. Mm-hmm. But we're just not good people.
Yeah, we're wildly inappropriate in the safety of the sanctum of our apartment.
Did you say our aardvark?
Our apartment. Our aardvark apartment. It's an apartment made out of an aardvark.
Yeah.
So
the third day.
Smelly.
The third day was a better creative day, I think. I think the struggle bus came to a head at the end of day 2. Mm-hmm. And then day 3 was a lot better. We were more focused, and we edited for
That was the day we did the podcast.
That was the day that we did the podcast, but I'm not there yet. So way to jump the gun, James.
Sorry.
Yeah. We edited for a couple hours. James had a photography project that he was wrapping up for a client, and then we shot the podcast. Mm-hmm. And that was really nice. I went to see some cows. This was not in our videos.
We sat at that cafe before we filmed the podcast. We sat at that cafe and I enjoyed that. That was really nice.
Yeah.
They had green tea and we had lunch. Yeah.
I'm past that point in the day. I'm talking about cows now. So.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Once again.
Yeah. You lost your opportunity for the cafe. The cafe was really nice though. The panini was.
In life, you really just have to execute when the time is right.
Yeah, but those cows, they weren't my friends. They were just like, moo, nah.
When did you see a cow?
When we went to that gas station and I wanted to get sweets, but we didn't get sweets, so I went to see the cows.
Oh, man, you shot past the podcast. Holy crap. So we were on our way home at this point.
Well, we have an entire podcast talking about the podcast.
True.
So I don't think we need to.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Emphasize that.
I was just amazed at the speed at which you moved through the story.
Yeah, no, I was talking about cows. I was excited about those cows.
Yeah, you went over there for a good solid 3 minutes, 5 even, of you just looking at the cows.
Yeah, and being like, please be my friends.
Yeah.
But they weren't interested. Mm-hmm. I don't blame them.
Then we found that audiobook on the way home of Harry Potter, and that changed our lives.
We spoke about it a little bit last episode, but
we did, yeah.
I want to go on another road trip just so we can finish listening to the first book.
We have started to run into this issue on longer trips where they get kind of boring.
You can only listen to so many podcasts.
Right. We'll run through our podcasts. And even though our trips are only they tend to be 3 to 4 hours drives, mm-hmm. it gets very boring and dull. And at the end, I was like, man, I want to just listen to a story. I want a narrative. I want something I can just sink my teeth into while my feet and hands drive this car, which takes absolutely no thought.
I want to go to California next month.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about the month, but yeah, I think April would be a good time to do it. And I want to do a couple collabs.
Yeah.
Make some videos with some friends.
Yeah.
I want to do a couple podcast episodes with some people out there. And that would be a great time to listen to the end of the first book and then probably the entire second book. I think
mm-hmm.
that would be so fun.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to plan that.
We finished the trip and we were like, that's it? We're done driving?
Yeah, it was amazing.
And we both agreed without even speaking to each other that, hey, we're not going to listen to more of this until we go on another road trip, right?
Yeah, no.
This is something that we do. And
this is a great
thing if you're in a relationship. It's a great way to spend time with a significant other. have certain activities that you only do with them. So you hold out on those activities until you are spending time with them.
Right. So
we
it's
have
like
two major ones.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you're, I'm just giving an
I'm
example
gonna hold
of
my fingers here so I don't forget.
like other people, the first time they watch The Office or something, they only do it together.
Right.
And I think that's so good.
Right.
We need to watch The Office over again.
So if you're struggling to spend time with your significant other and or dating partner or civil union partner,
What are you talking about?
or business partner, if you guys are really close, you should build systems and routines of things that you're going to only do with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And so like one of them for us is this new one where we're listening to audiobooks. The other one is we will watch their videos, but we won't watch a new video of these lovely people called Sailing La Vagabond.
Riley and Alina.
They're an Australian couple who they live on a catamaran.
I bet you we're related. How much do you want to bet I'm related to them somehow?
You might be. I'm definitely not.
I'm probably related to every Australian. That's not true.
No, you might be onto something there. But they live on a catamaran. They've sailed across the ocean. But it's travel vlogs, and it's just everything I want travel vlogs to be.
Oh, yeah.
Super good, well-produced. They have great personalities.
It's well-produced, but not overproduced. Like, it breathes. Yes. It's like...
They're good. They are very authentic, good people. Yeah. They're fun to watch because they're genuinely very likable people. And I'll watch the channel alone, but whenever they have a new episode that comes out, we won't watch it apart from each other.
Yeah.
We wait until the evening when we can sit down, and sometimes that waiting period, because of our busy evenings, will end up lasting for 2 weeks.
Yeah, but it's fun because then we get to binge. And there's certain things that I will only watch if I don't have my phone with me. Mm-hmm. I want to fully immerse myself in it because it's a form of escapism. Yeah. And it's really hard for us to find that on YouTube, something that I just enjoy. I genuinely enjoy watching. So honestly, I'll actually leave them linked below as well. Mm-hmm. If you haven't heard of Sailing La Vagabond and you're interested in really high quality videos, but the editing doesn't tell the story tells the story, if that makes sense. Like they just let it, like they've made me want to edit my videos a little bit more loosely.
And they're so anti a lot of what you see in YouTube culture. Like you were saying, they let things breathe.
They're just living on a sailboat. What do they have to rush?
Their videos feel like their lives.
Yeah.
They're just...
You know what I would honestly really be
easygoing.
What I would honestly really be interested in is learning about their workflow because they're sailing. But
they seem to be very productive.
Yeah, at least what they show us.
But they seem to be a very healthy balance of productive and enjoying life and eating good food and drinking good drinks. And they go swimming all the time. Gosh. Their house is floating on the world's biggest swimming pool, so they just go swimming whenever they want. They catch their own dinners.
Yeah.
He goes out with this like little spear gun and catches a salmon for them, and that's what they eat for dinner that night. Yeah, it's amazing. I'd be really interested in catch fish.
I'd be interested in knowing how they plan their videos. I'd be interested in knowing how they structure whenever times like what we're talking about now, when you're traveling and things don't go as planned, you kind of have to do something on the fly. Yeah. Do you scrap a video idea? I'd actually really be interested to learn their process. Anyway, enough swooning about Riley and Alina.
There's a lot that you can study about them to become a better creator. That's one of the things I love about watching them is what makes them so incredibly interesting in the world of all the other people who are traveling on various land, air, ocean, space vehicles and vlogging that experience. What makes them set apart? It's an interesting thing to think about. But
that catamaran,
valid.
That cat is very nice. And I'm familiar with boats.
Yes,
I am a boat.
You basically are a boat. Yes.
Yeah.
And your father has worked on boats for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Which is pretty rad.
Yeah. Honestly, hopefully this doesn't happen to their brand new cat, but if something happens to their boat, the chances of him being their surveyor, if they're anywhere near Miami,
is high.
It's pretty high.
Yeah.
And I'm just letting you know I'm going on that trip.
And you're gonna be like, hey, Dad, they're Riley and Elena, take them hostage.
Yeah.
We're on our way.
We're on our way. Lock them in their boat.
We'll become a patron of theirs so that they're not so mad when they meet us.
Why did you take us hostage? It's okay. We give you $5 a month.
But to touch on the social media aspect of things, and to touch on the structure,
crazy people.
to touch on the structuring your life around things that feed you and this sort of thing. We have decided that we're not going to watch new episodes apart from each other, and that is a level of structure that's very good for us. Mm-hmm. You have to do that. We're going to talk about this more in another episode, I'm sure, because we plan to have more episodes about social media and videos about social media and the things that we think about it. But in a world of endless discovery and enjoyment, a plethora of life-changing things to enjoy and behold, educational content, all of the things that you can access on the internet. You could go online right now. You could open up a browser and do anything you want, right?
Yeah.
So in that world, the question is it a really good idea to put yourself create a calendar for yourself, metaphorically speaking, of content that you're engaging with, so that content is serving you and you're not like a slave to it because you do a little bit of work, you get distracted. Oh, let me go check this thing. Do a little bit of work. This is why people end up deleting apps off of their phones and having these big mental breakdowns because they don't know how to have that structure.
You know what I think we need to do is like we need to become structure Nazis in terms of creating. No. Like we need to step it up a notch.
Do better, yeah.
So I'm talking about
especially with us.
Yeah, our dynamic together. Like we have our calendar, right? We need to like do time blocks to where it's like I don't care what we are doing. We are writing at 8:30 in the
bathroom,
morning.
and I just come in the door and just rip you out.
Get out!
Time to shoot.
You're making a mess. But I don't know. Well, okay. I think we should give ourselves a 15-minute window. So at 9 o'clock, if we're supposed to have a planning meeting, we have until 9:15 to start that planning meeting.
Or we have bracelets on our ankles that explode.
I don't know. That's a bit much.
Shut your mouth.
Okay. You're going to cool it with the whole shut your mouth thing.
I love you.
I'm sure you do.
I'll just say that after I say it.
You should say, I love you. And I'll be like, you're great too. You're a great friend.
Hey, you really do.
You sure do, Bobby. Anyway.
Who's Bobby?
Who
the heck is Bobby?
Don't worry about him.
This is a good place to wrap this up.
I think this is a good place to wrap it up. It's a little bit short of an episode, but...
We didn't talk about effort versus results. Can we touch on that?
Yeah, sure.
That's kind of a big deal because we mentioned it. I think we realized through our conversations, I was initially thinking we were disagreeing about this, but I think we realized that we actually do agree, which is what always happens.
Yeah.
We'll have an hour-long conversation and realize we actually agree on everything that's happening.
It's just one person says it one way, the other person says it the other way,
right.
But it's the exact same thing.
So I think we came to the conclusion, because the initial issue was when you have a situation, a creative situation where you're trying to accomplish something specific, and that situation, as life is, has all sorts of variables and things go wrong. What do you feel satisfaction from? The effort or the results? Mm-hmm. I think we came to a conclusion of saying that you should feel proud of both. That you should feel proud about your effort in a given situation as well as the results. Those are two different things, right? If you don't achieve results, we might differ. If you don't achieve the results that you want, which is the thing that makes you the most proud, right? When you see those results. Mm-hmm. And I would say me too. If you don't achieve that, then can you feel proud about the effort you put in, that you feel like you did your best even though the results didn't happen? I say yes. I say that feeling like you put your heart into what you were doing, You did everything you could to make it work, and maybe a different result came out, that you should feel proud of that. That's an accomplishment. You didn't screw up any relationships because you were being an idiot, because you were not communicating well, or you didn't handle it horribly in your mind. When you go through something and you feel proud, you handle it in a way that feels right, feels in line with what you're trying to do. I think you should treat that as an accomplishment. What say you?
My solution is you control the results based off of the effort that you put in.
Okay.
If you're not putting in the effort, then you're not going to get the results that you want. For example, when we went up into Kolob Canyon that second day, I was not achieving the results that I wanted, and I kind of let that get into my head. Therefore, I was not putting out the effort that I should have been putting out to make a better result from what I was initially getting. So I think I have control over all of it. I have control over the effort and the results. I think you were saying that you don't have control over the results, and I think that's what I was disagreeing with.
Okay. And I'm not saying that, because I think you do have control over the results to an extent.
I mean, I'm the editor.
I think that's where that's where our our breakup is. It's okay.
Are you breaking up with me?
We're married.
Can that be the title?
We don't break up anymore.
Can that be the title of this podcast? Breaking up.
Are we?
Breaking up, failure.
The B word. So let me ask you this question, because this is where I think our divide is.
Okay.
At this point, make sure the camera's not catching on.
You're good.
Fire.
You're
Okay.
fine.
Imagine that you're going to create a video.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for imagining. I can see. Okay. No, you don't have to go that far. It's okay. It should be an easy exercise. You want to create a video at the end of this month, and for that video you need specifically a Caribbean island, right?
Okay.
You would get on a plane and go to that Caribbean island.
Call our friends
ideally.
Riley and Elena.
Yeah. So there's an important shot in that video that you need on a Caribbean island.
Right.
Right? Well, what if, for whatever reason, there's a solar flare, all the planes are grounded in America,
Okay.
and our cars don't turn on, our electricity doesn't work, our bowels don't work.
You always have to take it one step too far, don't you?
Yeah. We can't get to that Caribbean island.
Okay.
Your video is now ruined.
Right.
Do you
put in more effort.
Do you walk to the island?
Yes.
Do you make a boat out of materials?
Well, so for your to cater to your point, what if that shot was up in the sky flying over the Caribbean island, right?
Okay.
And you can't do that. You put in more effort and
After Effects.
You put in more effort and you come up with a different shot.
You adapt.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I think we agree.
I think we do.
Because I think
why is it that when we agree, it's like I just want to be mad at you?
This is
it's like
because I think we're so used to being mad at each other. So yeah, we agree. I think my concern is always like, hey, we can't get that Caribbean shot.
Listen, James, if we agree,
the video's ruined. Back to the drawing board. You know what I mean?
This is where I get so frustrated because you have concerns. If we agree, don't have concerns. I just solved the concern by us agreeing.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think that's where
I was just explaining what my concern was before you agreed with me.
It doesn't matter because that concern doesn't exist. Keep that in your back pocket for the next time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think that's where these conversations always fall apart is because it's like you say...
Well, I feel like you don't acknowledge it because you just go, that shouldn't even exist anymore.
Hold on. I think what happens is you bring up a question. I tell you my solution or my answer, and that answer lines up with what your answer would have been. But for some reason, you need to come out of the woodworks, bring it from your sword pocket and say, but this...
It's called a scabbard.
A scabbard.
Yeah.
But this is actually what I think is happening. And it's like, nobody said that was happening. And we just go back and forth. Mm-hmm. And then an hour later we go, I think we're saying the same thing. Yeah. So.
Hey. Good job, Bob.
Good job, Bob.
We made it through a conversation.
Oh,
that was great. Okay. Hey, we're going to wrap this sucker up right here.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's going to be it.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Creating Things Together.
I'm finishing my water as she's saying that.
I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to the episodes recently. I mean, obviously, recently. This is a fairly new... Are you serious, James? You can't turn your phone on silent?
I'm so sorry.
I'm out here thanking the people.
Shut your mouth. I love you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the feedback that we've gotten lately. I appreciate the fact that James is not looking at his phone.
Some video games are on sale.
Yeah, it's been absolutely incredible. I've really been enjoying it. More to come. Next week's episode is actually going to be pretty interesting. We're going to be talking about a fun topic. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you've made it this far and you think we're interesting, leave a rate and review, because number one, helps us in the internet algorithm of podcasts that are very mysterious. And number two, it allows me to know kind of like it helps me feel what the community is feeling. Yes. Because with podcasts, there's a little bit of a disconnect between the creator and the community. So right. I really like having being able to read those comments and those reviews.
And I'm going to help you out. What do you appreciate about this podcast? I'm just asking you that question. And if you write it down, I don't care if it is a sentence, a word, or a letter.
The letter I.
R. Q. That would be that would be very enlightening to us. We would really appreciate that. And on YouTube, if you hit the like button, it lets us know that you appreciated the video, obviously. But I'm trying to frame it. I'm trying to let you know exactly what it means to us specifically. When we see that, we go, "Oh, we're doing something good here. This is great." Yeah. You know, we're not Philip DeFranco, 89 million likes.
We don't need to be.
We get like 7, and you know what?
We're stoked about it.
Each of those 7, we're like, man, somebody in Norway appreciates us today.
Yeah, shout out to all you European listeners. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening. We will chat with you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.